Well, hey, pre-K team, this is Jeff, and last night we had a bit of a gathering, on a video gathering. Last night, only a couple of you guys were able to make it, so I talked to Molly and Wendy, and we really wanted to just prepare to review some curriculum for Kids Church. And so I wanted to record that today and be able to share that with you, because I think there's three important things that we need to do before we start looking at curriculum. One is to review the words that we agreed on, that these are the words we want our pre-K ministry to be described by. That's a really important thing before we start looking at curriculum, because we want curriculum that matches the words that we say are important to us. And then I wanted to review our order of service together. Again, we want curriculum that's going to work for us. Instead of getting curriculum and then implementing it, we want to find curriculum that matches what we want instead. Right now with First Look, we're really implementing First Look. Just whatever they say to do, that's what we try to do. And we want to find some curriculum that's going to do what we want to do. What's going to serve us rather than us serving curriculum. And then I've got a rubric that's going to help us compare curriculum in an apples to apples kind of way. And I'll go through that last. And all of this should take maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get through. So I'm going to share a screen. I'm not going to share a screen yet. I want to talk through these words that we said are really important to us as a preschool. We want a JC Kids preschool to be fun. First and foremost, those of us who got together and started brainstorming some words, we all came up with fun first. We want it to be fun for kids. We want kids to look forward to coming to Sunday instead of having kids that are being dragged there by their parents on Sunday. So we want it to be fun. We want it to be safe. The curriculum doesn't play into that a whole lot, but we want it to be a safe environment. We want kids to be connected with each other and connected with leaders. We said that is really important. We want learning, of course, to be central to what we're doing, and specifically learning about Jesus. Jesus needs to be the focus of what we're presenting to kids. And we said, right now, maybe that was one thing that we're missing a little bit, that it tends to be very behavior focused, good deeds focused. We want to make sure that we're focusing kids on Jesus. Music needs to be an important part of it. Kids connect to God through music. Equipping families is a big part. We don't want an hour on Sunday morning to be the last thing that kids experience on their journey towards God during the week. We want to equip families to keep that journey going all week long. And the last thing is relevant. We want a preschool that's going to meet kids right where they are at. So something in an antiquated style that's asking kids to sit down and use workbooks and things like that. That's not what we're after. We're after something that's going to grab them right where they are, whether they are here at church every weekend and pray and do all kinds of Jesus-y things at home, or whether this is the first time they've ever been in a church environment. In fact, in kids' church, I had a girl come up to me at the end of service last week and say, I never knew that this church thing even existed, which I think for some of us is surprising. For me, I'm like, gosh, who doesn't know this church thing exists? And yet, the girl that I met this weekend did. So that's an important thing for us to think of as we talk about relevance. And so we boiled those 7 words down and we said, well, what would a Sunday morning experience look like that would encapsulate that? And we came up with, let's see. We came up with this, and my screen's over here. That's why I'm looking this way. I'm not trying to avoid eye contact video. We came up with this straw man. We said, what if when kids arrived, well, first of all, what if we knocked out the wall in between these 2 rooms? And I've been working on that this week. Walked through the room with Mark last week as we met together, and he is so excited for what we have going on. We can't wait to tear some of that wall down. So we said, what if when we got together, kids played for a little bit and cleaned up? What if we had some technology in the room that had some videos and allowed us to have some countdowns so that we stayed on task with these times? What if we had a large group time that was 20 to 25 minutes long, that maybe started with a game in one of the rooms with the wall closed off? What if there was some singing? And then what if there was a 10-minute Bible story presentation by a teacher in the front of the room? And then at the end of that, we could have a little bit of a snack time. So that's kind of half the service, is this large group time. And then what if the other half of that service looked like what we call learning centers? Exactly what's happening in preschool and kindergarten classes. This is the educational philosophy that's out there right now. What if we co-opted that and said, let's have learning centers, and each of them being 5 minutes or so long. We can figure out the timing as we get into it, but we said 5 minutes. And what if they were three kind of different centers? Maybe one was a game, maybe one was a craft, maybe one was some other kind of activity reviewing the Bible story or something like that. And kids travel between these centers for 5 minutes. And then they all get back together in a large group. They sing, they review, they pray, and they play until the rest of the time is up. We said, wouldn't this be great? Wouldn't this be really engaging for kids? Wouldn't this be relevant to them? Doesn't this sound like fun? And for us as a team, doesn't this sound really refreshing? Doesn't this help us to define each of our roles on the team? I know coming in that I'm either the large group presenter or I'm center leader too, and I know exactly what to prepare for the weekend. And what I have to prepare for is just a portion of the morning, and it's short and easy for me to be ready for Sunday on. So this is what we are aiming at. As we look at curricula, we are looking for the curriculum that's going to be easiest for us to adapt to this straw man idea, this order of service with these words that we described for our time. So quickly through that, let's get into this curriculum rubric that I've got, because one of the things I've experienced as I've worked with teams here at Journeys Crossing and at other churches in the past is when we start looking at curriculum, it's really easy for us to latch onto a favorite. But to not have really a reason that's our favorite, just to look at it and say, I like this. And then why do I like it? Well, I don't know, I just do. So what I want to do is have a common way for us to all look at this curriculum so that we can kind of definitively say at the end, I like it because, and I don't like it because of this. So let me share this with you. For anyone who has an inner teacher in them, this will be a whole lot of fun. I talked to Molly, and she just can't wait to put grades on things, which is fun. I actually like doing this too. So I've got 6 categories of this curriculum rubric, and they all come from either one of the words that we chose or some of the elements of our order of service. So fun, relevant, large group learning and learning centers, usability, that's kind of our own internal piece, and then equipping families. These are the 6 ways that we're going to judge this curriculum. And you'll notice there's a spot for a grade on each one. I'm suggesting just kind of A, B, C, D as grades for these. I don't think we'll have any Ds. I looked at all 3 of these curricula, and I think any of them will be great for us. And at the end of this, what I don't want is for us just to total it up and figure out which one has the highest grade point, and that's the winner. What we're really trying to do is say which one of these curricula is going to be most easily adaptable for us. If something is a low grade, it means that maybe it needs some adaptation. But we're trying to figure out how this works. And in my experience, what happens is once we go through this, there's typically one curricula that rises to the top that all of us say, you know what, this kind of is it. And then if we have a couple that we're tied on, we can talk about how do we go about digging into it a little bit more. So let me talk through this rubric, and then when I'm done, let's talk about what some of the next steps are for us so that we can actually get curriculum in our hands and use this thing. So fun. The big question behind that is, do kids want to come? It's that question of wanting to come versus I have to come. And we want kids to want to come. And so some of the ideas behind this are, is there a fun opening game or activity to do? Is there a fun engaging theme that kids will catch their attention? Does the Bible story include humor, or is it really dry? Is the Bible story interactive at all? Is the pace fast, or does it feel like we're just kind of plodding through molasses? So that's the idea behind fun. And so as we get this curricula, we can take a look at it and then just give it a grade. Does this look fun? Are these ideas here, or does it maybe not look quite as fun? The next section is relevant. Does it reach our target audience? That idea that we're reaching kids no matter where they're at. We're going to meet them where they are, whether they're really super churchy or they only know Jesus Christ as a curse word. We want to reach kids. And so relevant, how are the video and graphics? We know kids are engaged with video, so how is that used? Actually, Wendy suggested this next one last night. Is it engaging for both 2 and 5-year-olds? Because we've got a spectrum that we're trying to reach, and 2 and 5-year-olds can be quite different. So how does it do? Is it engaging the youngest and the oldest of kids in pre-K? Will first-time guests and visitors feel included or excluded? How much churchy language is involved? Probably not a whole lot with pre-K, but I think an important thing to look at. And is the presentation style kind of new and fresh, cutting edge, or does it seem old and outdated? I didn't include anything, but if it involved getting like a flannel board out, that would be outdated, right? So that's the idea. Is it relevant to the kids that we're trying to reach? The next section's on large group learning. Is the focus on Jesus? Is there an application to everyday life, or is it just head knowledge they're learning? Does it connect the Bible story to some kind of overall, I co-opted the phrase big God story, and I borrowed that from someone else. But is it connecting this Bible story with the overall picture? Is there a review time at the end of the lesson? We said we kind of would like to have that. Will it fit the timing of our service? Does the large group time seem to fit within 10 minutes? Does it feel like we could go 25 minutes and still be going? And do kids learn more about who God is? Really kind of the big point of what we're trying to help kids learn is who this God guy is. So that's, one of our sections. How is the large group learning time handled? Learning centers. How do kids interact with the lesson? And this will be the fun one for us to grade because this is all of these curricula include small groups, but none of them have the idea of a learning centers like we have. So can the activities be completed in 5 minutes? Is that craft going to take 20 minutes? Or can we get it done in a 5-minute learning center? And then are there some different elements? Are there hands-on craft-based activities? Are there interactive games? Is there a chance for kids to talk and process? Is the Bible lesson reviewed? Remember, we want 3 different kinds of activities at these learning centers. We want kids, as they go from center to center to center, to feel like there's a different activity instead of, oh, I'm doing just the same thing, but now I'm at the orange mat instead of the purple mat. So this will be, I think, really key to our looking at the curricula. Usability is next. That's really our own internal process. Parents and kids won't know any of this. I have what is the cost on here, but I can tell you that cost is not a consideration for any of the 3 curricula that we're going to be looking at. It's all much cheaper than First Look. Actually, almost anything made is cheaper than First Look. So what is the cost is an easy A for all of us. It's all affordable for us. Is it easy to adapt to our order of service? That's a big one. What's the prep time needed? Are the learning centers, can they be set up and torn down quickly? What kind of supplies are needed? What kind of physical space and technology is needed? Is material provided, or are we going to have to create some things from scratch? Is there any music provided, and is it any good? That's kind of gravy to us as we begin to add music in. Does the curriculum provide any, or do we need to find it all ourselves? And then what's done to create the tech? What needs to be done to create the tech presentation? Is it going to be easy or hard just to drop some videos in to like a Google slide kind of thing? So usability is a bit, and then the last bit is equipping. We want to equip families. How do we support and equip families? So what does the take-home material look like? Is there anything, and this is a gravy question as well, is there anything for social medias or something that says, hey, on Wednesday of each week, you should post this for families? That would be gravy if they had that. How easy is it for families to use at home, and would unchurched families be able to engage? Or does the take-home material assume an amount of Jesus knowledge, Bible knowledge? So those six things here: fun, relevant, large group learning, learning centers, usability, and equipping. Those are the ways that we're going to grade this curriculum and determine whether or not this is going to be a good fit for us. So with all of that being said, and I spoke pretty quickly because that's kind of my habit, and I know you guys don't have all day to watch me yakking on a video. What do we do with this now? So tomorrow, I'm going to be sending to you instructions on how to access 3 different curricula. One is Groups Dig-In curriculum. One is curriculum from a group called Grow, and one is curriculum from a group called Go. So let's see how often we mix up Grow and Go, right? They sound so similar. But I'll give you some instructions on how to access that. I'll also provide you copies of this rubric so you can print it out and use it. And I would, just write notes on it. I gave it an A because this, or I gave it an F- because of this. And let's take the next 2 to 3 weeks to go through these 3 curricula and grade them out. And then what I'd like to do is schedule a time for us to meet together in person. And we'll just go around the table and share what we thought about different curricula. And maybe at the end we'll find that there's one that we all particularly liked. Maybe there's a couple, and we'll need to maybe dig back into it a little bit before we can make a decision. But I think we're pretty close here to being able to make a decision on curricula. I looked at a whole ton of stuff and boil it down to these three. So I know these three are quality. I would be happy with any. I've got a favorite, but I won't reveal what that is yet. But I would be happy if we chose any of these three. And there's a whole lot that I looked at that is just, it doesn't work for us. So I'm not saying it's bad curricula, but it's not good for us. It's not a good fit for us. So I think out of these three, we've got real strong possibilities for us, no matter which one that we pick. So if you have questions, email. If you have anything else that you think belongs on this rubric, like Wendy pointed out last night, hey, 2s and 5s, that needs to be an important thing. I thought that was a great comment. So if you have anything that you think is missing, give me a shout. And tomorrow I'll be sending links to curricula to you, and we can start actually opening it up and kicking the tires for ourselves. Cannot wait for this process to be done. Can't wait for January to hit and to have some new stuff. Can't wait to take a sledgehammer to that wall. I'm going to try to find out when we're doing that too, so that anyone who wants to come and bang it with a hammer can do that. So love you guys. Thanks for being willing to invest in this. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.